in some of these pictures, in the lowlands, in the flatlands, there would be a village in the middle of a big rice paddy.
Yeah.
And what they did was they built a big wall where they buried their people, and they'd have it's like a cemetery, big round, right up, but they build it up out of the water.
Yeah.
I don't know if they put whole bodies in there, or burnt bodies, or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was like a little fort.
Yeah.
You know, and do you ever see these things in New Orleans where they have those things with all the and those cemeteries have all the stones around? It looked something like that, but it was walled, and it made a great little fort at night. You know, and we're in there, but it's like a maze.
Yeah.
And I used to dream about a Vietnamese chasing me around with a knife.
Yeah.
And I can't find my gun.
Okay.
You know? Wow. And I remember running. Where's my gun? Where's my gun? Where's my pack? And he never caught me, but I never found my gun.
Right.
I used to have that. But I think then Barbara will wake me up because I'd be trying to run, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if she remembers that or not. But
you ever had a flashback?
Huh?
You ever had a flashback?
Yeah. Couple.
What was it like?
Yeah. I remember one time in a movie.
Yeah.
And
what was it, Alien? Alien?
No. Well, it was Alien. It was Alien. It was like a second or third Alien. And I might have this a little mixed up, but they were in this pot or something. They were going down to on a planet or something. And they all got in.
Yeah.
And they took down through, and it was like a Charlie Alpha.
Yeah.
It's like a helicopter.
Yeah.
And I remember, it's like going into a hot LZ.
Yeah.
I remember tensing up, and I'm going, I can't stand, you know, I was right back in that helicopter again, and I remember finally catching myself and looking around. I hope somebody saw that. For like 3 or 4 minutes, I was back in a helicopter.
What year was this?
Oh, I don't know.
10 years after?
Probably 10, 12. Whenever Aliens 2 was out, you know, or Aliens 3 or whatever it was.
But it wasn't like right after the war, right?
No, but I had, the first time I had a flashback to, and first time I ever, well, Dave Atwell. That's, now I'll know a date on this. Dave Atwell was visiting us in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
He had just divorced, and he came out, spent a week or two. So, and the big movie out was Deer Hunter. So he says, let's go see Deer Hunter.
Yeah.
And I remember Barbara saying,
yeah. And
I said, yeah, we'll go see it. And she's saying, like, you don't watch Vietnam movies, you know. So, and I remember, and that, I had several flashbacks. I remember coming out of there, and I was a mess. Yeah. I was a mess. I just, you know.
Did you make it through the whole movie?
I did.
Yeah.
But I can remember, and I had to get away from it. As soon as we got back to our place, I had to go take a walk. You know, it was awful.
Yeah.
It was awful. There were so many things in there that triggered me. You know, just one thing after another. And it wasn't that great of a, you know, a movie.
Yeah.
But.
I was wondering if you could say about when you were leaving and you were on the front porch and what that was like. I remember you said something like, you know, it was just so abrupt, and you're like, but those are my guys, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was wondering if you could talk about the monsoons for like
horrible
2 minutes.
Worst nights I ever spent in my life, monsoon season.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would start raining and it wouldn't stop, you know? But the thing is, there was no movement, you know. The Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, they're not moving, and you usually get stuck someplace, and it just rains. And if you can't get something built, a hooch, you know, we call them hooches. You take ponchos and put them together, make a tent.
Yeah.
And if you don't get that one of those up before it starts raining, you're wet. You can't get dry.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just miserable. And it's probably 60 or something, but it's wet and you're cold.
Mhm.
You know, you're just cold.
Even though it's like hot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're so used to being 100, if it drops down to 60 and it's raining, cold rain, and you get wet,
And wind. Yeah.
yeah, you're cold, you know. But that's the only time I was ever cold in Vietnam.
Yeah.
During the months. It was just horrible.
Just miserable.
Just miserable. Yeah. And it's raining so hard.
Right.
You
Flooding.
can't, I'm not exaggerating. It's just pouring.
Couldn't see in front of your face.
No, hardly all. I mean, it's that bad.
Yeah.